Hey, what's going on there, folks? Welcome back here to a Monday night. It is the Earthmaster out here. December 2nd, 2024 is the date, 9:47 p.m. California time. Latest activity here on the earthquake 3D globe shows a looks like there's a little one-pointer here, 1.7 across the California area. A pair of deep earthquakes here across the Tonga Trench once again. Let's go ahead and check out California here real quick. We do have a little bit of interesting activity out here this evening, including a three-pointer, 3.3 earthquake that struck down here near the Santa Clarita area, north of Los Angeles, out on, looks like one of these fault systems here to the north, maybe the Pine Mountain Fault, or in between that section and another fault system down south here. A 3.3 earthquake. 7 miles deep there. Looks like another 2.6 earlier this morning in this general region. Since then, we're starting to light up out here with some recent earthquakes. One across the Garlock Fault shear zone, and also one down here in the Salton Sea area, just off the Brawley seismic zone. No swarming going on down there for now, but normally it can kick up out of the blue. But for now, just a little earthquake down there. Anything above 2.5, aside from the discussed activity, it looks like that's about it. Well, look at this right here. Got one earthquake right in that dynamic fault system here between the plate boundary, the San Andreas Fault, and the Shear Fault that interchanges right across that plate boundary. Pretty interesting fault system here. I believe that's where a lot of the strain builds up, and potentially this is where one earthquake could trigger another, depending on which one it triggers on first. Say, for example, the Garlock Fault shear zone has an earthquake here, a decent-sized earthquake. I could see that triggering the southern branch here of the San Andreas Fault and vice versa. It's a major spring, so to speak, here of a fault activity. If you really think about it, it's a shear zone, and it's different from the typical north to south or northwest to southeast type of fault systems here. This runs pretty much west to east and builds up a lot of strain here right at that interchange. We got one earthquake right now, 1.8, one further east along that Garlock Fault shear zone, and one down in the Salton Sea area. Kind of an odd triangle, but yeah. Moving up north, got some movement off on the creeping segment of the San Andreas Fault. A couple smaller quakes there. Now, I think we're overdue here along the Parkfield segment of the San Andreas Fault to see a six-pointer. Regular intervals of six-pointers run about 20 to 22 years or so, and our last one was back in 2024. Or 2004, excuse me. We haven't had a six-pointer yet, but you never know. We still have the majority of December here left. Hopefully I didn't jinx it there. 2004. So we're looking at 20 years since the last six-pointer out there on the Parkfield segment, and it does happen to have a fairly regular interval of six-pointers. There's always some talk here that a larger quake around this area could trigger the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault, depending on how far south here along this creeping segment, or the Parkfield section, excuse me, far as where that larger quake may take place. It could trigger some bigger activity out there. And of course, we all know it's coming upon us. This map will not always be quiet like this. Some movement across Utah as well. A couple smaller quakes out in the Milford, Utah area. Looks like a little swarm going on out there. Not for sure what's out there in the desert. Hey, those look like wastewater ponds. You guys see that? That's exactly what it is. Some type of pumping operations out here, along with windmills, and it looks like a solar farm. Almost all the energy possibilities that you can create all in one. But yeah, it looks like there's some type of wastewater injection place out there in Milford. I don't know a whole lot about it. Looks like this earthquake activity is occurring in this region, so I don't know if they're withdrawing some natural gas or what's going on. If somebody in here has the info, let us know in the comments below. Milford, Utah area. Whole bunch of activity out here around this little wastewater pond area. All right, backing out of there, we got some movement up in Washington, but really nothing big. Just a couple of smaller microquakes. Nothing going on across the Cascadia for now. Let's double check the tremor map here, see what we have. 69 epicenters of tremor across the California and Oregon area, southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. Nothing big. You know, I could say this area is definitely potentially overdue as well for some bigger activity. Living in some borrowed times right now. Or, yeah, borrowed time. Yellowstone, nothing showing up there for now. Right here, almost Yellowstone out in Colorado. When did that happen? Up here, Yellowstone in northwestern Wyoming looks pretty quiet, but let's always make sure. Let's see here. There's a little noise out here on the seismographs. Hard to say where some of that activity is coming from. Doesn't look like it's local in terms of local seismic activity, but there's some type of movement out there. I don't see anything nearby that would, I mean, a little 0.9 from early this morning, but this is some recent activity here, it looks like, in the last few hours. A little bit of noise, but hard to say. Nothing major, though, going on there for now. Across the rest of the country, oil fields out in Texas getting hit. New Madrid seismic zone, pretty quiet. Eastern portion of the country there, quiet as well. Got Hawaii out here showing some elevated seismic activity out here on a broad scale. Really nothing of any, I don't think we got anything major going on right now. Just some elevated seismic activity out there. I'll give a quick glance here at the Hawaii Volcano website here from the USGS. The volcano still sits at a yellow and advisory, so nothing major going on there. This that almost looks like some type of harmonic tremor in a way, volcanic signal. A whole bunch of earthquake activity as well in the last 12 hours. Some more, maybe some magma on the move just below the surface here. That's up at the summit area. Let's check a little bit further down south. That's pretty clear. Not a whole lot showing up there. But it looks like, yeah, I don't see any major readings on that one. Check out the deformation data around the Kilauea volcano, which does show a little bit of uptrend here. Last 2 days, past week, going up a little bit. But nothing of major activity yet. Not for sure what's up with that. Looks like they're having some issues there with the stations there, but we'll continue to monitor it. Nothing major going on. We'll see obviously a whole bunch of earthquake activity prior to any eruption out there across the region. 4.1 down in the Los Andes, Chile area, 89 miles deep here into that subduction zone, just outside the Santiago, Chile region. Look at the earthquake 3D globe. Shows quite a bit more activity there, but some fours being reported there by the USGS. Getting a swarm of activity here centered around the southern end of the Middle America Trench here. Quite a few earthquakes kicking up there. The USGS reporting a handful of fours in that area, but as you can see here on the globe, lots of uptick going on here. We'll watch the West Coast. I know we're seeing a little bit of elevated seismic activity there down south in the last few hours, so could start moving a little bit more. Across the Puerto Rico area here, a couple smaller quakes. One right smack dab on the Puerto Rico Trench, 3.9. Nothing big going on there for now. I keep saying that because all these areas are definitely capable of producing some larger quake activity. And again, just buying some time out here before we see some major movement. 4.9 way down south here, well south of South Africa, right on the plate boundary. The cluster that's been going on here across the Java Trench and Indonesia Islands area calming down a little bit. A lot of red rings here on the globe indicating some older activity. Japan pretty quiet, 1 4-pointer though, just offshore. Nothing showing up there on the USGS map, but it is there, just off the east coast there of Japan. Lucian Trench, pretty quiet. A couple smaller quakes up in the Alaska region. New Zealand, nothing new down there since that morning, since the 3.8 this morning. Some deeper activity there into the Tonga Trench once again. So just it's been a little eerily quiet out here recently. In fact, if you look here on the last 24 hours, the largest magnitude's only been a 5-pointer. They're in the southeast Indian Ridge, so it's a little quiet. All right, let's check out space weather activity. A little quiet on the sun as well. Not a whole lot of flaring going on. Looks like we got a little C flare coming into the X-ray flux chart right here. A little C 6.1 was the maximum level from that sun flare. Not a big deal. Looking at the UV filter here of the sun. Not a whole lot of bright features out here. So most of these sunspots that are out here are very stable. Here's one of the visible discs here of the sun. This is about a day old. But there's really not anything of any noteworthy value right now. In fact, the flare threat remains minimal. 5% chance for X flare, C flare at 99, M flare at 30% chance. No major auroras in the forecast as noted. Although there's a little bit of uptick right now coming up out of the blue. Looks like maybe slight chance of some aurora viewing up to around Canada, maybe stretching into Alaska here this evening. Somewhat unsettled conditions there. Aside from that, folks, no major severe weather out here, right? Pretty quiet. A glance here at the numerical models. Got some more snow coming there to the Great Lakes states as we put this into motion. A lot of cold air coming back behind that front system there, that frontal system. And those huge storms out there can dump a lot of snow. Some type of moisture mess down there across the south, it looks like. Going to be kicking up next week. Quite a bit of rainfall headed down that region. These guys get rainfall, seems like, all year long. It's not like here in California, we're lucky if we get rain from November to maybe February. But after that, it's dry and hot and 100 degrees every day. I want to live somewhere where we get equal chances of rain. Doesn't matter what season it is. Right now, the farthest model, and this could change, maybe a glimmer of hope for some rain returning to California, but I'm not liking this forecast. Look at this. Here's a 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. A lot of people might say, wow, that's nice. It's wintertime. It's not supposed to be nice. Above average temperatures, well below precipitation. That is not good for the 6 to 10 day forecast. If we look at the 8 to 14 day, let's go back here real quick. Oh, that's the hazard 8 to 14 day right here. Basically the same. Temperature and precipitation there. Very not all that good looking. Maybe up in Oregon and Washington there, but California looking high and dry, unfortunately. I'm not liking that. The long range models here, 3 to 4 weeks. I guess it shows equal chances there between temperature and precipitation there for California, but here's a 3 month. I mean, I hope we get something here. We picked up we did pick up about 7 inches of rainfall here in our last atmospheric river event, and that was good. I appreciate it. That was a lot of rain in a short amount of time. But, that really doesn't matter if we continue to stay dry out here for this winter. We need a lot more rain than that. So fingers crossed we get some pattern changes out here. I think that's about it, folks. It's supposed to be some type of alien invasion tomorrow is what I'm hearing there on social media. Got to be cautious on social media. There's a lot of stuff going on that people are believing, and always take everything with a grain of salt there. Don't believe what you see across the social media outlets, because a lot of AI is involved, and anyone and everyone has access to CGI material. I remember a few years back, a lot of folks were sharing the what looked like a octopus tornado. That it was just shooting out multiple tornadoes all over the place, and I'm thinking, these people actually believe that. That's not good. So be careful what you see out there. Alien invasion, and all this other hocus pocus baloney stuff. Just, do your research, ask around, see what people are saying about stuff like that. So I guess we'll see, right? Alien invasion tomorrow. Oh boy, I can't wait. Alaska, pretty quiet. All right, I'm out of here, folks. I need some sleep. Seismograph stations there, pretty quiet for now. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe.